We now get to say that Donald Trump is a fraud without adding allegedly.
Oh, interesting.
Judge rules that Donald Trump defrauded banks and insurers while building real estate empire.
Oh.
And this is another one where this is a... oh, no, it kept my highlights. I thought I highlighted something in the first bit. So, a judge ruled Tuesday that Donald Trump committed fraud for years while building a real estate empire that catapulted him to fame and the White House. So yeah, civil lawsuit brought by Letitia James. He ruled that Trump and his company deceived banks, insurers, and others by massively overvaluing his assets and exaggerating his net worth on paperwork used in making deals and securing loans.
Oh, I saw something about not this one specifically, but the overvaluing of Mar-a-Lago that's apparently been happening.
No, that is specific to this because the judge ruled. So the judge used the judge used the Palm Beach assessors, whatever his official title is, the Palm Beach assessor, the guy who assesses properties in Palm Beach. He used the number that guy provided of like it was a range from 18 million to 27 million for Mar-a-Lago.
Mm-hmm.
And then Don Jr. was like, "That's ridiculous. It's clearly worth $1.5 billion," or whatever he said. I think I actually have that tweet as part of the tweets. I might not. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I think I saw Kyle Kalinske responding to Don Jr.'s tweet.
Yeah, and it's like...
And that's how I found it.
Because Don Jr.'s tweet was like, oh, well, the judge would need Secret Service clearance to make that judgment, to make that assessment. It was like, no, he just got it from the assessor.
Do they not understand that...
Like, the judge isn't out there doing the legwork himself. Like, do they think in a criminal trial, the judge is actually, like,
the judge
traveling?
is doing discovery?
The judge goes down to the coroner's office to watch him do his, like, write up his report? Like, no, he just reads the coroner's report. Jess is saying, I thought it was undervalued, not overvalued. It depends on the scenario. In this specific case, it was overvaluing, but, like, that was the thing with the Trump organization where they were found guilty before, where I think there's one of their higher up execs that wasn't Trump actually ended up spending a few months in prison over it. Was that like, depending on which institution was asking them, they would overvalue it. And then for another one, they would undervalue it. So this one is specifically with regards to the overvaluing. So this is where, like, I recently took out a mortgage on my home to do some renovations, and the bank that I did that with, they sent me some paperwork, and one of the fields in the form was what is the value of your home? What is the current value of your home? And I could just type in a number, and if I typed in too big a number, I'm sure they would have questioned that, but I probably could have gotten away with typing in a much larger number than I did.
Fair.
But I also only needed like a very tiny amount relative to the overall value, so I didn't need to do that, so it wasn't an issue. But like, even if I did, I'm like, the legal consequences for that are way too big to risk it.
No, you don't screw with it unless you're massively arrogant.
Yeah, but
wait a minute.
Or if you're like, or if you actually are rich and you have the money and it doesn't actually matter to you, and you're just trying to game the system, and if you get caught, whatever, it's no skin off my back.
Pay the fine. I mean, it's the usual. It's equally illegal for a rich man and a poor man to sleep under a bridge.
Yeah.
At a certain amount of finances, you just don't care about things like fees and, I mean, any type of violation you can do because you just pay your way out of it.
Yep. Yeah, so Trump, in a series of statements, railed against the decision, calling it un-American and part of an ongoing plot to damage his campaign to return to the White House. My civil rights have been violated, and some appellate court with federal or state, or whether federal or state, must reverse this horrible un-American decision, he wrote on his True Social site. He insisted his company had done a magnificent job for New York State and done business perfectly, calling it a very sad day for the New York system of justice. Everybody in New York hates him. There's a reason he can't win New York, despite being from New York. It's because the people there know him.
What's that statement about how nobody's a prophet in their own hometown?
Yeah, that comes from the fact that Jesus could not perform miracles in his own hometown because everybody already knew his shtick.
Yep.
Ooh, we got our first tip of the day. Naramdput says, my hands are typing words.
And so they are. And so they are.
Thanks, Naramdputs.
Let's see. And Koreans' ruling days before the start of an jury trial is the strongest repudiation yet of Trump's carefully coiffed image as a wealthy and shrewd real estate mogul turned political powerhouse. I do know a couple of Trump apologists. They also tend to be Elon apologists. And one of the statements I hear a lot from those people is typically, but look at how successful they are. Obviously, they know something. Obviously,
he bankrupted a casino. That's not successful. How do you bankrupt a casino? It's like casinos are literally rigged in their favor.
They'll basically use the defense of because you've seen the movie. What the fuck is it called? The Producers.
Yes.
They'll basically go.
So they're saying he committed fraud in order to make more money.
Yes,
because that's what they were doing in The Producers.
They'll try to twist themselves into knots to go like, but that's the smart thing to do. That's what you needed to do. That's what he needed to do to get rich. So it was the right thing to do because look at how rich he is.
Yeah, but he's rich because his net worth on paper is high. But if he's valuing Mar-a-Lago at 1.5 billion when it's only worth like 27 million at most, let's be generous and call it 75 million, because like it is a very big property in a very expensive area.
Yeah.
So let's be generous and call it 75 million. That's still a tiny fraction of 1.5 billion.
Yep, and yet they will still shout from the rafters that it is worth more because it's like the Kevin Sorbo thing. It's you say a lie and then you become so trapped in it that you can't be honest about it anymore because there's going to be more damage to what you're trying to do through in that honesty than there is by just saying the lie over and over again and then getting in legal trouble.
If I can read what Judge Engeron said, in defendant's world, rent-regulated apartments are worth the same as unregulated apartments. Restricted land is worth the same as unrestricted land. Restrictions can evaporate into thin air. A disclaimer by one party, casting responsibility on another party, exonerates the other party's lies. Then he says, this is a fantasy world, not the real world. So it is now a matter of court record that Donald Trump lives in a fantasy world.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. It's just like the we can't take Tucker Carlson seriously for legal reasons.
Yeah. Okay, and I think we can skip the rest of this. It's all the same stuff. It reiterates the fact that his organization was convicted of fraud last year, in which one executive actually went to jail for 5 months. His charitable foundation was forcibly dissolved, and he was made to pay $2 million to charity as a fine. So, it's just reiterating the fact that Trump, all his businesses seem to be engaged in criminal activity. It's like, that's actually a good face for that. If all your businesses are engaged in criminal activity, what's that say about you?
What word do we use to describe a person who commonly commits criminal acts over and over and over again? I feel like there's a word we use for that, right? A pretty common word? I mean, hell, the word might even begin with a C, like the word common. But I can't put my finger on it.
My brain's moving slow tonight. I was trying to turn that into a clit joke, and I couldn't find it. I just couldn't find it.
You couldn't find the clit. You ironically couldn't find the clit. That's a criminal joke, man.
It is, yeah. I'm sorry.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Right. Anyway,